Have you ever stopped to really look at a dime? That tiny, shiny little coin, small enough to slip through your fingers, light enough to go unnoticed in your pocket. Most of us don't even think twice before tossing it into a drawer or letting it roll around in the car cup holder. But what if I told you that one of these tiny coins, a 1999 Roosevelt dime, could secretly be worth thousands, even millions of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? A simple 10-cent coin, minted just before the dawn of the new millennium, holding a secret so big that coin collectors across the world are still hunting for it, coin by coin, roll by roll. Well, believe it or not, the mystery surrounding this coin has turned it into a legend in the numismatic world. Rumors, discoveries, and whispers of rare errors, all have combined to give the 1999 dime a reputation that keeps growing every year. And here's the craziest part: you might actually have one lying around somewhere without even realizing it. That one coin, sitting unnoticed in your change jar, could be the key to an incredible fortune. Now, before you rush to check your wallet or that box of old coins in your drawer, you need to hear this entire story, because the real reason why some of these dimes are worth huge amounts will completely shock you. Not every 1999 dime is valuable. Most are just ordinary, plain, everyday coins. But a few, just a few, are unlike any others. And those few are what have made this little coin a sensation among treasure hunters. So stay with me till the end of this video, because we're going to explore the full truth, the myths, the facts, the errors, and the real reasons behind those mind-blowing values people are talking about online. You might have seen headlines like, "A 1999 dime sold for over $100,000, or, "Check your change, this dime could be worth millions." But what's real and what's just internet hype? We'll uncover that, but only once we've dug deep into the coin story. Because to understand why this little dime has become such a phenomenon, we need to go back. Back to the year 1999, the final year of the 20th century, a time when the world stood on the edge of a new millennium. The U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for everyday use, but also preparing for something historic, the upcoming state quarters program that would begin in 1999. In the middle of all that excitement, among the millions of quarters and dimes being minted, the 1999 Roosevelt dime was born. To most, it was just another coin. But to collectors, it became a piece of a much bigger puzzle, one that connected minting technology, rare mint errors, and a few mysterious stories of coins that didn't quite match the rest. And that's where our mystery begins. Somewhere among those millions of coins minted in Denver, a few came out different, slightly off, imperfect, or containing features that no one expected to find. And those are the dimes that started the million-dollar talks. So what exactly makes one dime ordinary and another priceless? Is it a minting mistake? A hidden detail overlooked by the human eye? Or could it be something even rarer, a combination of luck, timing, and a bit of history frozen in metal? The only way to find out is to understand its story, from its creation to its design, from the people who made it to the collectors who now chase it. Because this coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a time capsule, a witness to the final moments of a century, and possibly a golden ticket for those lucky enough to find the right one. So don't go anywhere. In the next part, we'll uncover how the Roosevelt dime came to be, and how the 1999 became one of the most talked about coins in modern U.S. history. You'll see how this dime's history is filled with twists, meaning, and maybe even the clues to finding one of those rare, valuable versions. And remember, the real worth of this coin might just surprise you. Because when we finally reveal its true value, you'll understand why collectors say, never underestimate a dime, especially a 1999 To truly understand the mystery and value behind the 1999 Roosevelt dime, we first need to travel back in time, decades before it was even struck. Because the story of this little coin begins not in 1999, but in 1946. It was right after World War II. The United States was celebrating victory, rebuilding dreams, and honoring heroes. One man, in particular, stood out, a president who had led the nation through the Great Depression and most of the war, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. When Roosevelt passed away in April 1945, the nation mourned deeply. He wasn't just a president, he was a symbol of resilience, of hope, of leadership through the hardest times America had faced. And just months later, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him in a way that would last forever, by placing his image on one of the country's most used coins, the dime. The dime was chosen for a very symbolic reason. Roosevelt had been closely connected to the March of Dimes, an organization that helped fight polio, a disease that Roosevelt himself had battled most of his life. So, in a sense, the dime became not just a coin, but a tribute to courage and compassion. In 1946, the first Roosevelt dime was minted. It replaced the Mercury dime, another beloved design, and introduced a fresh, modern portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, facing left, with the word Liberty proudly above his head. On the reverse, the design featured a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. And just below, the words E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, captured the spirit of a united America. As years went on, the Roosevelt dime became one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. It passed through generations, carried in pockets, purses, vending machines, and donation jars, quietly witnessing America's growth. From silver to clad metal, from the Cold War to the digital age, the dime survived it all. But something significant changed in 1965. That's when the U.S. Mint stopped making dimes out of 90% silver and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. The silver era was over, and modern coinage had begun. Fast forward to the 1990s. Technology was evolving, the internet was emerging, and the U.S. Mint was gearing up for a major program, the State Quarters, which began in 1999. While all the attention was focused on those shiny new quarters, millions of dimes continued to be produced quietly in the background, including the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime, struck in Denver. At first glance, it seemed like just another year. Another dime, another minting run. But little did anyone know that some of those 1999 D dimes would later become the center of attention for coin hunters and collectors all around the world. You see, 1999 wasn't just any year. It marked the end of a century and the beginning of a new one. It was a symbolic bridge between two eras. And as the Mint transitioned its equipment, experimented with new dies, and increased production to meet demand, small inconsistencies began to appear. And in the world of coins, those inconsistencies, those tiny differences invisible to the untrained eye, can make all the difference between a dime worth 10 cents and one worth a fortune. The Denver Mint, where the 1999 D dime was produced, has long been known for its massive output, billions of coins every year. With such scale, even the slightest variation can create an unexpected rarity. And that's exactly what happened here. Over time, collectors started noticing that a few 1999 D dimes weren't quite the same as others. Some had off-center strikes, others showed double dies, and a few even exhibited mysterious missing clad layers or unusual surface tones. At first, these were dismissed as minor errors, the kind of things that happen in mass production. But as more examples surfaced, the legend of the 1999 D grew. Soon, whispers began spreading in online collector circles. Did you hear about that rare 1999 D error dime? Someone found one that sold for hundreds, maybe even thousands. And just like that, the mystery ignited. From being one of the most ordinary coins in circulation, the 1999 D Roosevelt dime slowly transformed into a symbol of hidden treasure. Collectors began searching through rolls, change jars, even old piggy banks, hoping to find the one. But what makes this coin so fascinating isn't just its history, it's how ordinary it appears. Because at first glance, there's nothing unusual about it. No bright gold shimmer, no special mark, no dramatic difference. Just a regular dime, until you look closer. In that sense, the story of the 1999 D dime is almost poetic. A small, common coin, ignored by millions, holding secrets that only the patient and observant can discover. It reminds us that even the smallest things can hide extraordinary value. And in our next part, we'll take an even closer look, not at the legend, but at the design itself. Every curve, every detail, every word on this coin tells a story. And sometimes, that story holds the clues to discovering whether your dime could be the rare one everyone's talking about. So stay tuned, because what you're about to see next might just change the way you look at every coin you've ever held. When you hold a dime in your hand, you're holding something that might seem simple, just a small, circular piece of metal, smooth and familiar. But when you take a closer look, you begin to see that the 1999 D Roosevelt dime is not just a coin. It's a masterpiece of design, filled with symbols, precision, and hidden details that connect decades of American history. Let's start from the beginning, the obverse, or front side. At first glance, you see the calm and confident face of Franklin D. Roosevelt, America's 32nd president. His gaze is steady, facing left, forward-looking, as if he's watching over the nation's future. The word liberty arcs gracefully along the left edge, symbolizing the very principle that Roosevelt championed through some of America's hardest years. To his right, tucked carefully beneath his chin, is the phrase "In God We Trust," a message of faith and unity that has appeared on U.S. coins for generations. And just below his neck, you'll find the year, 1999, a year that marks both an ending and a beginning. Right next to the date, you'll see a small letter, the mint mark D, standing proudly for Denver, the birthplace of this mysterious dime. It's such a tiny detail that most people don't even notice it. But for collectors, that little D is everything. It's the signature of the mint where your coin was born, and it's also the key to identifying those rare, potentially valuable versions we'll talk about soon. But the real magic of the design lies in the reverse, the back of the coin. There, standing tall and bright, is a torch, its flame burning steadily in the center. To the left, an olive branch, a symbol of peace. To the right, an oak branch, a symbol of strength and victory. Together, these three elements tell a powerful story: liberty, peace, and strength, the very ideals Roosevelt spent his life defending. Around the torch, you'll see the words United States of America, reminding us that this coin is more than just currency. It's a small emblem of national pride. And just below that, in bold letters, is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. A phrase that captures the soul of the nation. Many states, many people, united as one. Finally, at the very bottom, you'll find the denomination, 1 dime, 10 cents. So small in value, yet, as we're discovering, sometimes worth more than anyone could imagine. Now here's where things get interesting. For most people, this design is just decoration, something familiar and ordinary. But for coin experts, every small line, every detail, even the depth of the engraving tells a story about the minting process. And in 1999, during a time of heavy production and technological transitions, even a tiny variation in those details could create something extraordinary. Some 1999 D dimes show differences in the thickness of the numbers in the date, subtle changes caused by dye wear or repolishing. Others have slightly blurred lettering on E pluribus unum, or minor distortions near the edge of the torch. These are not accidents, they're signs. Signs that your dime might have been struck with a die nearing the end of its life, or perhaps with a die that wasn't perfectly aligned. And that's where the world of errors and big money begins. Collectors spend hours examining these tiny details under magnifying lenses, studying the sharpness of Roosevelt's hair, the clarity of the mint mark, or the spacing of the letters. Because one small difference, one faint doubling of a line, could mean the difference between a coin worth 10 cents and one worth thousands. And that's the thrill of it all, the chase, the curiosity, the idea that a coin you've looked at 1,000 times might still be hiding a secret no one else has noticed. That's the beauty of the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime. It looks ordinary, but it's anything but. Now, imagine this. Somewhere in a drawer, a pocket, or an old coin jar, someone might be holding a 1999 D dime that looks just like all the rest, except it's not. Maybe there's a faint doubling on Roosevelt's profile, or a missing clad layer revealing a copper glow. Maybe it's a perfectly struck error, frozen in time. And maybe, just maybe, it's one of those few coins that's worth a life-changing sum. In the world of numismatics, design isn't just about looks, it's about discovery. Each line, each letter, each flaw is a clue to something bigger. And when it comes to the 1999 D dime, those clues lead us straight into the fascinating world of mint errors and rarity. Because it's there, in those rare mistakes, that this dime transforms from ordinary change into a collector's dream. So, stay with me, because in the next part, we're diving headfirst into that mysterious realm. We'll explore the errors, the rarities, and the exact features that make some of these 1999 D. Roosevelt dimes worth hundreds, thousands, and even rumored to be worth millions. This is where the real treasure hunt begins. And you might just learn how to tell if the coin in your pocket is the one everyone's searching for. And now, as we step deeper into the world of the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime, we enter the part collectors care about the most, the real value. Because while most people see a dime as just 10 cents, collectors know one truth. Every coin has two values, its face value, and its collector value. And the second one can be shocking. To truly understand the worth of a 1999 D dime, you have to imagine its journey. 1999 wasn't just another year at the Denver Mint. It was a year of massive production, high-speed coin presses, and heavy coin demand across the country. Billions of coins were produced, and when production ramps up that fast, something else happens. Mistakes happen too. And every mistake the mint makes becomes a treasure for collectors. Let's start with the basics. The ordinary 1999 D dime you might find in your pocket. In circulated condition, it's usually worth about 10 cents, maybe a little more if it's in great shape. But that's just the surface. Because when you look at higher grades, coins that have survived the last 25 years without scratches, dents, or wear, the value begins to rise. A perfectly clean, untouched, mint state example graded MS 65 or higher can sell $4.05, $10, sometimes even $20 to collectors who want pristine examples. And if you go higher, MS 67, MS 68, the numbers jump dramatically.
Why?
Because almost all 1999 D dimes entered circulation. Finding one in ultra-high grade is extremely rare. Then there are the special ones, the coins that break every rule and redefine value. Some 1999 D dimes have sold for over $500, not because of gold plating or jewelry modifications, but because they were struck perfectly, with deep mirrors and sharp details. A tiny handful graded at the very top, MS 68 or MS 69, have reached prices that shock new collectors. Most people don't realize this. They think a modern dime can't be worth anything. But to a serious numismatist, perfection is priceless. And then, we reach the mysterious category that truly changes everything. Errors. Errors are the lifeblood of modern coin collecting. They're rare, unpredictable, and completely unintentional, the perfect recipe for value. Let's walk through the most important ones found on the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime. Some collectors have discovered off-center strikes, where the image is shifted noticeably to one side. If it's only 5% off, the coin might be worth $20 to $40. But if it's 40% or more off-center, the price can leap to $150, $200, sometimes $300 or more, depending on how dramatic the error is. Then there are the broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without the confining collar that normally shapes the edges. These coins appear wider, flatter, almost stretched. A clean broad strike can sell for $50 to $120, especially if the lettering is still bold and sharp. But one of the most fascinating and valuable errors is the missing clad layer. Instead of having the usual silver-colored outer coating, the dime appears coppery, as if it's made of pure bronze. These mistakes happen when the top nickel layer separates before striking. If you find one, the value can be astonishing. A confirmed missing clad layer 1999 D dime can bring $300, $400, even $600 if in high grade. Collectors go crazy for these because they're visually stunning and scientifically intriguing, the kind of mint error that tells you exactly what went wrong during production. But there's another category of error that only true experts can detect. Die varieties. Some dies used in 1999 had slight doubling, called doubled dies. This isn't dramatic like the famous 1955 doubled die penny. Instead, the doubling might show on the torch, the branches, or the letters in United or One dime. If confirmed and certified, these subtle doubling varieties can be worth $100 to $300 or more, depending on clarity. Another important detail collectors search for is strike doubling, a mechanical shift that causes a slightly doubled appearance but isn't a true double die. Most of these aren't incredibly valuable, but if strong and clean, they can still bring $20 to $50, especially because many people mistake them for genuine double dies. But there is one class of error that sits above all others. One that can transform a simple dime into a legendary, life-changing treasure. Wrong planchet errors. Imagine a dime struck on the metal intended for another coin, a penny planchet, or a foreign coin blank that accidentally entered the system. These are the rarest of the rare. And if someone finds a 1999 D dime struck on the wrong metal, the price could be thousands, possibly tens of thousands depending on the uniqueness. Errors like that don't just get collectors excited. They make headlines. And then, of course, there are the rumors. The whispers in coin forums. The unconfirmed stories of a possible 1999 D transitional error, a coin struck on leftover planchets from earlier years. If one of these ever surfaces, real, authenticated, and certified, its value could be unimaginable. We're talking 5 figures, maybe even 6 if the error is dramatic enough. That's how powerful the world of errors is. A coin that should be worth 10 cents suddenly becomes a rare artifact, a historical accident, a prize that collectors will fight for. And this is where the true magic happens. You never know which dime in your hand has that hidden rarity. A dent, a curve, a misalignment, a missing layer. One tiny flaw can turn ordinary change into a jackpot. Collectors know this. They search tirelessly, flipping through rolls, inspecting thousands of coins, hoping that one of them, maybe even a 1999 D, will be the one. And as we continue, the story only gets more thrilling. Because in the next part, we will go even deeper. The specific errors to look for, how to identify them, what makes them valuable, how grading affects price, and how to know if your 1999 D dime is truly rare. Stay with me, because the treasure hunt is just getting started. But now we step into the part of the story that everyone wants to know. The whispers, the legends, the unbelievable claims that echo through online forums, YouTube videos, and late-night collector discussions. Because somewhere along the road of numismatics, a rumor began. A rumor that the 1999 D Roosevelt dime could be worth $1 million. $1 million. That number doesn't just get attention. It electrifies people. It pulls them in. It makes them dig through drawers, search through old jars, flip through every dime in their pocket, hoping they're holding history's greatest mistake. But what is the truth? Where did these rumors begin? And can the 1999 D dime really reach that kind of unimaginable value? To understand the answer, we need to travel back to the earliest days of error collecting. Collectors have always known that mistakes, real, dramatic mint mistakes, can be worth life-changing money. Coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1913 Liberty nickel, and the 1975 no-S proof dime have sold for hundreds of thousands, even millions. So when a rumor surfaces that a modern coin might have a rare, undiscovered error, people pay attention. The 1999 D dime entered that zone because of something unusual happening at the mint that year. It was the height of production. Billions of coins were being rushed out to meet demand. Old dies were being replaced. New planchets were being tested. Machines were running hot, workers were moving at incredible speed, and in that chaos, the possibility of an extraordinary mint error suddenly became very real. Collectors began speculating. What if a 1999 D dime was accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, like a leftover blank intended for a coin of another country? Some mint facilities during this era handled foreign contracts. What if just one blank slipped into the dime press? What if, and this rumor spread fast, a 1999 D dime was struck on a pure silver planchet, left over from earlier experimental strikes? No one could confirm it, but no one could deny it either. And then came the biggest rumor of all. The possibility that a 1999 D Roosevelt dime was struck on a gold planchet or an experimental composition. A strike like that, if real, wouldn't be worth thousands. It wouldn't be worth tens of thousands. It would break the market. It could be $1 million coin. Collectors love mystery. And mystery loves the 1999 D dime. Stories began circulating online. Someone claimed they heard about one at a coin show. Someone else said a dealer saw one privately, but no photos, no certifications, no proof. Just whispers. Just possibilities. Just enough truth to keep the rumor burning. But here's the reality, the truth collectors need to hear. No confirmed, authenticated, certified $1 million 1999 D dime has ever been found. Not yet. But before that disappoints anyone, understand this. The absence of proof doesn't mean the impossibility. It means the treasure, if it exists, is still out there. Maybe hidden. Maybe sitting in someone's jar of old change. Maybe in a box that hasn't been opened in 25 years. And here's the twist. The reason the rumor never dies, the reason excitement keeps growing. Errors that could reach $1 million territory do exist, just not discovered yet. If a 1999 D dime turned out to be a double denomination strike, like a dime accidentally struck over a quarter. A gold or silver experimental planchet strike. A proof planchet struck at the wrong mint. A foreign planchet error with perfect weight and composition testing. A dramatic double strike with two full, clear impressions. A no-mint mark Denver production anomaly that shouldn't exist. Any one of these would instantly become one of the most valuable modern-era coins in U.S. history. Collectors know this. That's why the rumor lives. It's not about what's proven. It's about what's possible. And the 1999 D-dime is the perfect coin for mystery, because it was minted during intense production, under high pressure, with thousands of opportunities for something strange to happen. Most years run smoothly, but some years have secrets, and 1999 might be one of those years. So when people talk about the $1 million dime, they're not lying. They're dreaming, realistically. They're searching. They're hoping that the one impossible coin, the one miraculous error, might surface one day. And here's the part that keeps the suspense alive. Every great numismatic discovery, every rare, legendary coin, was once just an ordinary coin, until someone looked closer. Until someone found the flaw that no one else noticed. Until someone asked, "Is this the one?" And that's why the rumors don't fade. Because the next person to check their dimes could be the one who finds the miracle coin. But the story doesn't end here. There's more, much more. Because in the next part, we're going even deeper into the error types, the signs to look for, the verification methods, the grading secrets, and how to know if a simple 1999 D-dime in your hand holds hidden value. Stay with me. The treasure hunt is only getting more intense. And now, after exploring the design, the history, the errors, the values, and even the $1 million rumors, we arrive at the final truth of the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime, a truth that every collector, every beginner, and every curious viewer needs to hear. Because at the end of the day, this tiny coin, this little 10-cent piece that most people overlook, carries something far more powerful than its size suggests. It carries possibility. For some, the 1999 D-dime is just a simple piece of change, a coin they spend without ever looking twice. But for others, for the people who look closer, who ask questions, who are curious enough to examine the details, this coin becomes something else entirely. It becomes a doorway into a world of discovery. Think about it. Inside a coin press, in a split second, something can go wrong, or incredibly right. A die can shift. A layer can be missing. A planchet can be foreign. A strike can be off-center. A detail can double. And that single moment can freeze a rare error into metal forever. And maybe that error, just maybe, ends up in someone's pocket. Maybe it ends up in yours. That's the beauty and the mystery of coin collecting. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to buy expensive pieces. Sometimes, the greatest treasures in numismatics aren't locked in museums. They're sitting quietly in everyday life, waiting to be discovered by the one person who pays attention. The rumors of $1 million dime? They're more than rumors. They're reminders. Reminders that history hides surprises, that the minting process can create wonders, and that even modern coins have secrets no one has solved yet. And whether such a coin has been found or not doesn't matter as much as the fact that it could exist. Because possibility is what keeps collectors searching. Possibility is what keeps the hobby alive. Possibility is what transforms ordinary people into treasure hunters. So the next time you hold a dime, especially a 1999 D. Roosevelt dime, don't rush. Look closer. Tilt it under the light. Check the details. Study the edges. Because one day, someone is going to find the next rare error. Someone is going to uncover the coin that changes everything. Someone is going to rewrite the story of modern numismatics. And who knows? Maybe that someone is watching this video right now. Maybe that someone is you. Because in the world of coins, the greatest discoveries don't belong to historians or scientists or billionaires. They belong to the curious, the patient, the ones who never stop looking. The 1999 D. Roosevelt dime may be small, but its story is enormous, filled with history, mystery, and endless potential. And as long as people keep searching, its legend will keep growing. So keep your eyes open. Keep your mind curious. And never underestimate the value of what you hold in your hand. Because sometimes, the smallest coin can hold the biggest secret.